We're live. I'm Jenny June. I'm a certified child and family sleep consultant and lactation counselor, and I practice here in Los Angeles, sleep training and also sleep hygiene for children and adults as a collaborative provider at the Breathe Institute, which is where we're at right now, live. And today we are going to discuss ADHD and some of the medications that go along with this. I've gotten a lot of questions and inquiries from you guys, from parents and even adults who are struggling with ADHD and the medications, and it's impacting sleep. It's impacting your children's sleep. And so today I brought on somebody who I met when the Breathe Institute had their grand opening, Dr. Sean Barzegar, who is a medication management pharmacist, who, when I met him the first day, I mean, we clicked right away. I'm totally obsessed with this guy because he thinks outside the box. He is a genius. He has the medical background and understanding of some of these pharmaceutical products and dealing with managing care with medications with things like ADHD. And we're going to talk about melatonin. I'm going to tease you with that one too, because that's going to be a whole nother segment that is going to be absolutely awesome. And we might get a little bit into that today. But bottom line, I need to introduce you to this man. You're going to become just as obsessed with him as I am. He's a genius. I want you to throw questions and comments, your experiences at him. He can answer all of it. This is your opportunity. And if you're not watching us live, make sure you still bring your questions and comments, because Dr. Barzegar is going to answer those throughout the week for you guys. And if we're lucky, maybe a little bit extended beyond that point. But introducing Dr. Barzegar. Thank you for joining me today and for joining our audience.
Hello, everyone. It's great to be here.
Thank you. I'm so glad you could do this. This is great. We're so lucky, you guys. I mean, how often do you get to have, this is a concierge level physician genius who actually takes a holistic approach to things. So he's that yin and yang, that balance that we're all looking for as parents, just trying to find that sweet spot for our kiddos and for ourselves. And so he really does take a more whole person, holistic approach. And he said things that just blew my mind. I've got chills just thinking about it. So here we go. We're going to dive right in. I'm so happy you guys are joining us. I see Jennifer and Laylee and Mark. Thanks for joining us today. Again, if you have questions, comments, thoughts that your experiences that you'd like to share, please put them in the comments below. We're going to learn from each other today, and some of the comments that show up in the feed later on in the week are really helpful to some of you who couldn't join us live, or maybe just were thinking you were all alone in this process. But bottom line, ADHD, it can cause some sleep issues just on its own, the behavioral kind of stuff that comes from that. It's difficult to manage your child's sleep or your own sleep as an adult, or your teenager's sleep for that matter. Ritalin is a common medication, right, that is prescribed when someone is diagnosed with ADHD. This is his lane, so I'm not going to talk too much from here. I'm just going to let him roll with it, because you're going to love it. You're going to love what comes out of his mouth. So first of all, timing. I heard timing makes a difference.
So it absolutely does. So, when it comes to ADHD medications, the first line, which we have Ritalin and Adderall and Vyvanse and all, these are all stimulants.
Ritalin,
Vyvanse,
Adderall, okay.
Concerta. So all these overall, the medications that are used, at least for the attention component of ADHD, they're all stimulants. Okay. Just like a cup of coffee will do to you, it will make you focus. So a stimulant will make you focus.
Okay.
So, but that comes with its consequences, and the problem we're seeing today is when you give a stimulant, you put your body into that attention and flight and fight mode.
Okay.
But now you're gonna have difficulty falling asleep.
Right.
So the problem with a lot of these medications at the first was when they start giving to kids, there were immediate release formulations.
Okay.
And it will make the kids peak a lot, and then it will wear off too fast. So they came and now made a lot of them extended release. Okay. Which now it still allows you to eat. It doesn't take your appetite away, but now we're facing a problem of sleep.
Okay.
Because now when you're taking an extended release stimulant, and a lot of kids, just one dose in the morning is not enough.
Right.
Then they take an afternoon, or sometimes they even miss a dose, and now they go to, let's say, 3 p.m., 4 p.m., and now when it comes to sleeping, they're still in that attention, flight, and fight mode.
Wow.
And now this pretty much throws off the entire sleep cycle.
Yeah.
And it's a problem we're just facing and trying to
Yeah, that makes perfect sense, because when you guys call me, you know, to help with manage your child's sleep issues, I'm having to look at some of these medications in our intake form that your child is taking, and many of you, you know, are you know, inquiring about sleep, you know, management because of, you know, all the stuff that you're seeing with the behavior, but also with these medications, and I didn't realize that prior, you know, I don't know how long ago it was just immediate release. And then now it's gradual release?
We have immediate release, and then we have extended release. We also have other rare formulations that are kind of mix of immediate and extended.
Okay.
But the problem is mostly with the extended. Not to be a problem, because if you take an immediate, what happened a lot was just because of the nature of the stimulant, a lot of kids started losing their appetite.
Oh.
So now we have nutrition problems.
Wow.
But we switched to extended, that problem is solved. But now we're facing another problem, which is sleep. So the timing becomes really important, because you want to give this. Sometimes even it's best if you want to give it, at least to mix an extended and immediate. So you can give it an extended in the morning.
Okay.
And if you need a second dose, you give that immediate. So the immediate release. So by the time sleep comes, it's out of your system.
Okay, so you can have that's brilliant.
So you have to mix them.
Does anybody else know this? That's brilliant. I mean, I wouldn't even thought of that.
There are people out there who practice it, but for the number of people who practice it, there are more people who don't practice it that way. And they just stick to one type. They do extended release. And, you know, I work here, and I also manage a pharmacy in Glendale. So,
what's the name of your pharmacy in Glendale?
Pri-Med Pharmacy.
Pri-Med Pharmacy.
Yeah, Pri-Med Pharmacy in Glendale.
Okay, we're going to put a link to the name of his pharmacy, so you guys can, you know, if you're getting your prescriptions there and you know, roll up and you happen to see this, who's soon-to-be famous guy, because he's so good,
or you
right?
Can call me if
or
you
can
have
call
questions.
him.
I want to get a hold
He's
of him.
fascinating to talk to if you have you know, if you're trying to manage medications for yourself or your kids, so that on you know, with multiple different kinds of medication, obviously, but you know, I'm just saying, if I had medications and prescriptions I needed to be filled, I'd be like rolling up on his pharmacy. That's all I'm saying. Plug. All right. So I love the idea of like being able to take the extended release in the morning, and then your immediate release in the afternoon.
If you need it.
If you need it.
So a lot of the times comes that you see on the prescription that the prescriber writes, you know, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, but sometimes you don't need it. Right. So I'm really against doing it around the clock always.
Listen to that. Say that again.
Do it as you need it. Don't do it around the clock. Don't do it like it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. No. Do it when you need it. If your kid is not in school and it's a weekend and they don't need to be 100% attention there, then give them a break. Let them have a day off. 1, the medication works better. 2, you're getting less of it, so you don't build a tolerance to it. You give your body an off day to kind of bounce back.
Right.
So it gives a lot of advantages. Not like just doing. You have to you have to manage it.
How many of you guys knew this? I mean, as a parent, I'd be so confused. You know, I mean, it's not our lane, right? I mean, we just assume if we're given a prescription, it's got to be on this time, you know, like what we have to do with antibiotics or whatever. But my God, that makes total sense. I mean, we can really give the body a break and make the medication more effective if our body's getting a little break here and there. And, you know, you're getting it from the expert here that you have permission to take a little hiatus at, you know, in the afternoon for the afternoon dosage if it's a weekend or, you know, school's out or whatever. And
Absolutely.
I love that. So, that right there is a huge takeaway for everyone here. I think that's really cool that you said that. And that's the way he thinks. He's really outside the box. He thinks about the whole person, the holistic, you know, approach to things, which is genius. And we need more of that balance with our medications. All right, we're going to go real quick to some questions and comments, so nobody's feeling left out here. Hold on. Oh, cool. Laylee just shared Pri-Med Pharmacy. Okay, your information is shared there. Family League is, hey, Jenny, thanks for the great info. You're welcome. Love this. I see kids on these meds often. Yes. Thank you, Jennifer, for sharing that. There are a lot of kids on this medication, so hopefully this is helping out a lot of you guys. Brenda says hello. Hi, Brenda. All right, cool. So we'll just wait for some comments or questions, and if not, we're just going to keep rolling because he's full of all kinds of goodness here. What else would you say? Well, we were talking about this earlier, and again, it's a teaser because I want to do another show on melatonin with him, because that is a huge issue with a lot of parents, giving this stuff to their kids like it's candy, just as a desperate, Band-Aid solution to trying to get some sleep for everybody, if people aren't sleeping well in general. But with kids with ADHD, I imagine that's something that is being prescribed.
So there are some medications. As we said, melatonin is being used a lot. A lot of prescribers use something called guanfacine. Yeah, guanfacine, which is pretty much that's to deal with the hyperactivity part of the ADHD.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then a lot of the times they give it extended release in the morning.
Okay.
As well, so they pretty much kind of deal with the attention problem through all the stimulants like Ritalin, Adderall, and then deal with the hyperactivity through medications like guanfacine. Now, one of the good things you can do is, instead of doing an extended release in the morning, maybe you can break that into 2 separate doses. Give one in the morning and one towards the end of the night.
Okay.
Because it's still, since of its nature is dealing with the hyperactivity, it is kind of a downer. So it does bring you...
So it helps relax the child so that they can yield to sleep.
But I cannot keep emphasizing, medications for sleep should be the last thing you try. They should not be the first thing you try.
Now you're preaching my language. He's in my church now.
It is.
So.
because once you start medications, then you're pretty much in that field. But before, because your body gets used to it.
Right, it builds a tolerance.
It adapts to everything. It's a master of adapting to its environment.
Wow,
so you can easily change the threshold that is needed by medication.
Right.
And create a new standard for your body.
Really?
But,
so under your guidance or a physician's guidance, we can kind of find the sweet spot, kind of take the lowest dosage amount.
As low as possible.
Yeah.
And then, you do sleep hygiene.
Yeah.
It's no medication. You're training your own body to produce the necessary hormones and neurotransmitters and everything that it needs. You condition your body, and then it'll produce it itself, and it will take care of itself. And then if you need a little boost, you can now use a medication to give it a little boost, rather than just going full medication and not dealing with it the non-pharmaceutical way.
Oh, mic drop right there. We're done. That's all that needs to be said here, people. Like, I can't top that, because if now you see why I adore this man. I'm obsessed. He's brilliant. And you don't hear this from other pharmacists and physicians out there. He's really looking at, what the body can do for itself. And again, what, pharmaceuticals will sometimes get in the way of if we're not managing it correctly, depending on the unique situation. And so I love it. There's no substitute for good sleep hygiene.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I love him.
That's, in my opinion, first-line therapy for any type of sleeping problem. And that there are a lot of situations you need a medication.
Yes.
It is there, but you first need to go through the complete sleep hygiene practice. And if that fails, then you have to identify the underlying cause, and then you go to treating it in a pharmaceutical manner.
And I would imagine when sleep hygiene has been in place for a few weeks, where the body is used to creating its own natural melatonin levels and sleeping well, and all the conditions are right, that it's easier to diagnose a sleep issue if all of that's intact.
Exactly. And then, this is another thing what we focus on here in the Breathe Institute is a lot of our patients come in and they've been taking sleep medication to sleep, where the problem is, in the case of Dr. Zaghi, their airway and their breathing.
Right.
So if you were to fix that a while ago, you would never needed these medications.
Right.
So the medications are not helping them because the underlying problem is not being addressed.
Exactly. The root is not, it's kind of masking it.
If you don't fix that, it's pretty much what the example I use is if you're thirsty and you have Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Feels good for a short moment, but then you're just going to become thirsty and thirsty over time.
Right.
With these people, what we experience is they take that sleeping medication, it gives them a good night's sleep for a little bit, but then they just see they're more and more tired during the day.
Right.
Now they're tired. Now they have to take a stimulant, in the case of adults, something like Adderall, to wake them up during the day. Now the Adderall doesn't let you fall asleep. Now you need to take another sleep medication for that. And now you enter the cycle that you don't want to get into it unless you really have to.
Next thing you know, you're hanging out with Elvis Presley. You know what I'm saying? So All right, so let's make sure we don't have any other interesting questions to address here before we close up for today. I bet you guys are hungry and thirsty for more of this guy, aren't you? Well, don't worry. I'm bringing him back on because he's a wealth of information. And again, like I said, there's the whole melatonin craziness going on out there with all these crazy, well-marketed, so-called natural synthetic supplements. They're you know, the marketing is brilliant. Natural supplements, they're synthetic supplements. We're going to talk about melatonin, when it's a good time to take it, when it's not, what it can do to the body if it's, you know, mismanaged in the way it's being consumed. And again, more details on sleep hygiene, which is that, you know, that my 4 pillars of sleep hygiene is where we kickstart your own natural melatonin production. It signals to the brain and body that sleep is coming, and you're falling asleep with your own abundant natural melatonin levels at sleep onset, which help you to get those whole healthy sleep cycles, and especially that deep, delicious, yummy sleep crack called slow wave sleep within the 3rd stage of a sleep cycle. Everybody says yes to sleep crack, right, within your sleep cycles, and that's what falling asleep with enough of that powerful natural hormone already in your system will do for you, unlike, you know, many medications can give to you. So so we're going to address all of that very soon. I'm just going to make sure we've answered everybody's thanks, Mia, you guys are amazing. Thank you for joining us today, Mia. That's awesome. Okay, everybody's good for right now. Oh, and yeah, Lately, thank you for chiming in and reminding us that if you are interested in scheduling a consultation with Dr. Barzegar, you can call their practice, and the number is at the Breathe Institute. That's 310-579-9710. And you can also learn more about you know, the Breathe Institute and the amazing collaborative providers and practitioners, including the triple threat Dr. Zoggy, who is just a genius. Yeah, he's an ENT sleep surgeon.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
inspiration. He is
awesome. He's the one that started this whole approach to medicine, structural, functional, and behavioral, looking at the whole person. We call him the triple threat because he's Harvard, Stanford, UCLA. That's all that needs to be said about him. But you can find out more about him and all the wonderful practitioners at the Breathe Institute by going also to their website, thebreatheinstitute.com. We're going to post those links in the feed below. And again, please share your comments, your experiences, and your questions if you're struggling or your child is struggling with ADHD and you're kind of wondering, you know, about sleep and the medications and all of that. And we're going to answer those throughout the week for you. All right, next week, 1 o'clock Thursday, Pacific time. Join us here. We've got more good stuff coming your way. And if we can't do it next week, Dr. Barzegar is going to do it the following week. But I'll give you a heads up. So stay tuned to my Facebook page. And if you have questions about sleep training or sleep hygiene, you can go to my website where I have blogs and videos and the services and pricing page on my website. And that's jennyjune.com.
The best.
Oh, thank you. Oh, he's so great, isn't he? All right, guys, we'll see you next week at 1 o'clock. Take care.
All right, bye.
Bye.